I'm going to revert back to my questions here. So I've got a question about the current time period, and it's characterised by COVID, isn't it? And lockdown and social distancing. How are those things affecting your daily work at the moment? So I'll ask Jude first, if I may.
My work, so my paid job.
Well, you work with a supporter group.
I work with a supporter group, so it's really busy. It's actually been really busy throughout lockdown. We've got 4 people on our committee. We've seen huge intake on our uptake. On Twitter. We've actually gone through our 5,000th Twitter follower during lockdown, which is great. We want to go for that blue tick. We need a blue tick. So that's been great. We've been doing lots of stuff for social media, quizzes. Send us your favourite memorabilia. We ran a bit of a what's our ultimate Manchester City match team. So we did like a bit of a vote off. Was it this FA Cup game versus this game, and our league title in 2016 won that as our favourite game ever. Loads of stuff, little online quizzes. We've done Zoom meetings. Because we normally, as a sort of a proper like branch, we have to do branch meetings. So we'd normally do that every sort of 6 to 8 weeks face to face. So we've switched that to Zoom. We've actually had a few more people coming as well, because as I said earlier, we're sort of a little bit spread across the country a bit more. So Zoom's been great for people to join. Maybe something for us to think about post lockdown as well. Competitions. So it's been really busy. We've launched our new yearbook. We publish a book every year. One of our members is a local author, so we do it's almost like a review of the previous season. Lots of photos, quizzes. So that was published about a month ago now. So we're trying to sell those online as opposed to face, but sales are going well. It's also our year end. So as the treasurer, I'm up to my ears in accounts at the moment as well. We're doing our membership renewals because we're a paid membership. So we're just sort of doing our renewal for the next season as well. So yeah, it's been really full on. It's
sounds it,
and that's not with going to games as well. So normally we'd be organising travel and things like that. So yeah, it's been no let up, and then doing your paid job on top of that as well.
I'll return to that in a minute, I think. But Gabby, could I ask you the same question?
Yeah, so it's been really interesting with how the United States has been dealing with COVID and the pandemic. I think there's just some additional stress because our government hasn't quite had the same reaction as some other countries. So I would say that from our standpoint, entering into the pandemic and COVID and lockdown, our club put on match replays every week, and so it was about generating some interest in that. But we've continued to still work. We've continued to still do things behind the scenes, not so active in the public, but trying to really help our community. That's been our big focus right now, is how do we help get supplies, funds for our community and organizations that are dealing with not only COVID and the pandemic, and the health crisis, but Portland recently, for the last 60 days, we've been seeing a lot of protests and demonstrations, mainly focused around Black Lives Matter, and also defunding our local police. And we've become a big national spotlight recently with having our federal government send officers in to defend a cement building that they're afraid we're going to blow down with umbrellas and water guns, I'm sure. And so what we've been doing is also trying to raise or collect medic supplies for the volunteer medics who are helping protesters who are either getting tear gassed or they're getting hit by different rubber bullet things coming out from the federal officers and our local police. And so that's become a big focus of ours too. I think every year a major focus of ours is community outreach. and how do we really help our community. And that also it's changing a little bit, because we're now also asking our community to provide more input and provide more guidance or their own perspective to not only our activities, but the way that we're organized and the way that we're running. So this has been a really unique year where without football, without live matches, really trying to focus on ourselves and say, how do we become more, or a better representation of Portland, of women's soccer fans, of just our group. Like Jude was saying, we still have meetings. So we meet monthly, the Riveters leadership. We meet monthly, and we're actively trying to recruit more people to join in on different elements of what we do. To speak to a previous question about what challenges do we face, and I think that's a big one here in Portland. I think people oftentimes are see the numbers and see how many people we have in the stands, and that's not a great representation of like how many people are involved in getting that done. And so we're actively trying to provide more entry points for people to join the organization, to get more involved, to really find out how should we be involved? What does support look like to other individuals? So that it's not just the few who are orchestrating a lot of things behind the scenes, but we can be more of a collective in that regard. And then I think the last area for us was really around the NWSL Challenge Cup with that tournament. And there was a lot of activity building up into that, really trying to ensure that, you know, the league was taking all precautions. We weren't quite sure how CBS and everybody was going to be broadcasting this. So there was a lot of uncertainty there, but we're really happy with how it played out. I know I'm personally, the only complaint I have is I hate fake crowd noise. And so I was pretty frustrated that I had to watch the match on mute, because it's just it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. Like, it's not real. Stop messing with my mind. But you know, it was great to see how that tournament really came out, and now we're focused on what does return to play look like, and how do we what does support look like in a pandemic? That's still a question that we're trying to answer. Like, I don't think anybody's figured that one out yet, but still very busy. I don't know if we would be doing everything that we're currently doing if there was live football, if it was a regular season. I think this is really an opportunity for us to look at changing a lot of structural things that we have within our organization.
Once again, I'm struck and inspired by, as you talk around just what help you give to people. You know, it's the same point which when Jude was talking earlier, you know, about how this group of people, as a group of football fans, are trying to make the environment so much better and try to work with people.